Welcome back everyone, this is Joshua Lead and Iron, and we're going to be talking about the iPhone 14 Pro Max a month later. Okay, one of the main reasons I upgraded was the iPhone 14 Pro models came with a 48 megapixel camera. I was really hoping for 8K video. My wish! That didn't happen, oh well. But the camera, for me anyway, I don't know if it's different for everybody else, but for me, I really wanted to experience like a better quality camera coming from my iPhone, and I also wanted to utilize cinematic mode 4K 24 frames. Those were the two main selling points for me to upgrade, obviously because I do content. I like cinematic mode for my iPhone 13 Pro. It was stuck like at 30 frames. I utilize 24 frames when I record, so it all meshes together a little bit better. That was my main reason for upgrading. For everyone else, it's different. So it doesn't necessarily have to do with the camera. Maybe it's like Dynamic Island or Bluetooth 5.3, which my understanding is to utilize the AirPod Pros for the sound quality. Bluetooth 5.3 is needed to actually get the quality that's supposed to come out of these, and I am trying to find like an iPhone 11 Pro because I want to compare the same AirPod Pro Gen 2s from the phone that I have Bluetooth 5.3 to a phone that has maybe Bluetooth 5.0. I want to see how much of a difference in quality and sound, bass, stuff like that, how much it changes from this phone to another phone. I am trying to find a phone to do that. The major changes that came from a 13 Pro Max to the 14 Pro Max was the camera, the color, deep purple. I got the deep purple color, which you can't really see too well on camera, but in the sunlight you can see it. So Dynamic Island is pretty handy to have. It's not like a must-have. I don't think it's a must-have for like a lot of people, but it is pretty cool. You can see that it's locked right now. It shows you locked, and it will also show you like the music you're playing, or if you're screen recording, you don't have to keep, swiping down to stop it. You just hit the Dynamic Island and hit stop. It also shows you what music is playing. It gives you like small notifications, like especially with phone calls. Like I noticed that it's kind of easier to see when spam phone calls come. It'll pretty much say Dynamic Island activates, and click it to enlarge it or whatnot. It's pretty cool. There is like a slight delay because of Dynamic Island sometimes. I know that when you try to access the app through the Dynamic Island, so let's say music, there's like a little bit of latency that happens, and it's not like a deal breaker or anything. Well, it's not a deal breaker for me anyway. Always on display, it's a decent feature. The only thing I would say is to make sure you are either like turning your phone face down, or when you go to sleep, whatever, and you're not charging it, lay it face down so you can make the actual screen, and I'll show you right here. You'll make the actual screen turn off. You'll see it kind of, and see how it turned off. So it's thinking that it's in a pocket, so there's no light coming in, so it turns off the display. That way, if you're not charging it overnight, you don't wake up with like 10% less battery or 20% less battery or whatever it is. That's just one of the tips that I learned. Before the update to 16.01, I think, it would just shut off on its own sometimes. There was a lot of bugs with iOS 16 in the beginning, which kind of made like the iPhone 14 Pro Max look a little bad because they were looked at as buggy. But the big one that was solved was like the camera shake on like third-party apps. That was kind of weird. I think they fixed that with software. There are still some apps like Facebook for me that crash here and there. So there's still a lot of crashing. It's not my phone, but it's the iOS. So I don't know if they're gonna fix that. I don't know if they have fixed that, because mine still crashes, and I'm on the latest version, which is, I think is 16.03, I think. And it still crashes every now and then, not as bad as it was in the beginning though. In the beginning, it was really bad for a lot of apps. If you experience any of that stuff, please let me know in the comments, because it still happens to me intermittently. The big change for me also was the sound that came from these because of this, and the AirPod Pro 2s, AirPod Pro Gen 2, they sound phenomenal, and I am wanting to look into if there is a huge difference between the 5.3 Bluetooth and the 5.0 and lower. I have got some comments that talked about it, and I want to make sure that there is that much of a difference, because when Apple talked about it, they were like it shouldn't be that much of a difference, but evidently it is. There's some people that are getting different experience from it. I want to see how much of a change there is going from like Bluetooth 5.0 to Bluetooth 5.3. Now, I don't know if the Bluetooth 5.3 is responsible for some of the things I have experienced utilizing my AirPod Pros, like especially like on Facebook Messenger. If you do calls from Facebook Messenger, on the video part, there's times that the Bluetooth drops my AirPods, and when I try to reconnect them, it says that there was like a failure in my audio or something, and it's just because my Bluetooth won't reconnect for whatever reason. Not sure if that is Bluetooth 5.3 or if it's just my AirPods. Let me know if you experience something similar. It only happens like in Messenger though, I've noticed. So Facebook Messenger. Also, Facebook is the one that crashes majority of the time from iOS 16. So I'm not sure if it's something to do with the app itself or if I have to re-download that app, but it's gotten better, it just doesn't happen as bad anymore. I haven't really noticed a battery like decrease or increase, except for in the beginning when I first got this phone, my battery drained really fast, and I think there was a lot of people that experienced this as well. I would literally wake up overnight with my iPhone dropping like 25% because I think it was always on display and a few other things. They released, patches that I think kind of helped with the battery drainage issues. I have noticed that my battery doesn't die as fast anymore. As long as you keep it face down face down when you're like asleep and you're not charging, it should turn off. The other thing, like the only other gripe I really have,
you know what really grinds my gears?
Is when you're trying to utilize the 48 megapixel camera. So in the settings, you go into your camera app and you go to formats. So you have to toggle on Apple ProRAW. You also have to go into the ProRAW resolution and choose 48 megapixel or 12 megapixel. And then after that, you're still not done. For every picture, for me anyway, there's a RAW that is kind of closed out at the top right here. Now you have to engage that and turn it on and activate it to get the 48 megapixels of that camera. I haven't had any issues. I know that there has been some people that have issues with the camera switching, here and there. Mine hasn't, knock on wood, but when you're trying to take a picture real quick and like in the moment, sometimes you forget to hit that RAW. You get the 12 megapixel image instead of the 48 megapixel image. So just keep that in mind, that it's not automatic. Even after you turn it on and toggle it on, you still have to toggle on at the top in the actual camera. So just remember that if you're trying to take pictures, always make sure that the RAW is going on for the 48 megapixel if you want to crop in and stuff like that. That is like my main gripe of this phone. And I would say if you're looking to upgrade just because of a color, don't do it. There's skins and stuff available now that you can, put on your phone to change its color and stuff like that. The camera, if you're taking photography, like iPhone photography and iPhone like video and stuff like that, and you're cropping in a lot, then I would say it's probably worth it to you. It's the reason I got it. Dynamic Island, as cool as it is still like a gimmick. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't miss it, but it's not something I need. If I had thought about it, I probably would have returned this phone and kept my iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's not that it's not a good phone. It's just not, the updates that I got necessarily weren't enough for me to upgrade or enough for people to upgrade. The things we're missing are like USB Type-C, and I am kind of sad because trying to transfer, like especially when I create content and they're like the larger files like cinematic 4K and stuff like that, the only other option I have is AirDrop because Lightning port isn't very fast and AirDrop tends to move a little quicker, so I use AirDrop more than I should. We should really be having Type-C to a Type-C device, especially when my Apple MacBook Pro is Type-C and it only has 2 ports for Type-C, and I'm stuck with lightning speed. That was a bummer. The 8K resolution was a bummer. So the next phone that comes out, so the iPhone 15 Pro, the Pro series, the only way I'm upgrading would have to be a design change. So a design change meaning Type-C is put in for me. So as a Pro user, like for Pro features, I don't think Lightning port is something that is like standard Pro these days. Is fast data transfer speeds, and that only comes with USB Type-C 2nd gen. You can get up to, or Thunderbolt, where you're getting 40 gigabits a second you know, data transfer speeds and stuff like that, instead of what we have. We have Lightning port, which uses this, and that's it. I think everything else I have is Type-C. So Apple, it's really time to go to Type-C with the rest of the world, please. We'd be very happy with it. So after a month, if you're on the fence, upgrading to an iPhone 14 Pro Max or iPhone 14 Pro, and you're coming from an 11, 11 Pro, or 12, 12 Pro, I would say absolutely upgrade. If you're coming from an iPhone 13 Pro, Pro Max, then I would probably tell you hold off. It is absolutely not overall, like the overall picture is not worth it to upgrade. Like if you have a specific niche, like you do iPhone photography and you create content from iPhone photography, and that is like your income or part of your income, or like you know, your side hustle, then yes, I would say from 13 to 14 do it. Other than that specific margin, I would just say hold off. 15 should be better, and if it doesn't have Type-C, then I'm probably holding off until we get a Type-C, because always on display and dynamic island really just don't cut it to upgrade. You know, the phone prices pretty much remain the same, but when you're spending $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 on an upgrade, you kind of want more than just this, you know what I mean? Great phone, beautiful phone, color beautiful, always on display, dynamic island are handy, not unnecessarily like I need it now and I can't live without it. I can. The 48 megapixel, big upgrade. That was probably the main upgrade. And I'm telling you, these Apple AirPod Pro, the Gen 2, had more change than the iPhone 14, 13 to 14, just to give you an idea. I'm more happy that I bought these than I bought this. I don't know if you feel the same. I don't know if you guys purchased, you know, the AirPod Pros Gen 2. This had more change. Phone changed, yeah, there was changes and stuff, but this was more dramatic, just to put it in perspective. Anyway, guys, if videos like this help you, please let me know in the comments. Please give a thumbs up. Don't forget about our giveaway we're having. We are 8 subs away, so we'll be drawing 2 winners. One winner, the grand prize winner, will be the EVGA Extra 1 Lite. A second winner, we have a Deco Gear backpack that has Bluetooth speakers. You can charge because it has a power brick, so there's a power brick in there as well. Very well put together backpack, so we're giving that away as well. There will be 2 winners from that. Make sure you go to that video. I'll link it in the description below, but make sure that you like that video, you comment on that video, and make sure that you are subscribed. And as soon as we hit 200 subscribers, we're going to draw, and then we'll figure out what to do from there. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me on this 1 month review, 1 month later, iPhone 14 Pro Max. I hope this has helped you in any way in making a decision or figuring out if it's worth it to upgrade or not. This is my input. I really hope it helped you. Anyway, guys, I gotta go because my back hurts.